Now let us see two more very interesting methods, okay, to separate the constituents of various different types of mixture. There is a method called sublimation, or this process of sublimation is something you have already seen. What is sublimation? We already know that the matter which is in three states, say from ice to water if you give heat, and then from water to vapor as you continue giving heat. It doesn't become from ice to vapor immediately, correct? You are able to see the liquid state in between. If you have ice in your hand, you can see after some time that it is becoming liquid because of the heat of the hand. So, and after some time, of course, it's not so easy to hold it for a long time. And then the same water can be kept in open, it will evaporate and it will become water vapor. Or you can put it in a vessel and boil it, then also it becomes evaporation. It is a vaporization in that kind of stage. Okay, so either way, from solid to liquid to gas, that order is maintained. There are few substances which do not show the liquid. It is the liquid stage is so fast that you are not able to see. It is like the standard naphthalene balls you have seen at home being used in the cupboards, where they are able to remove the bad smell as well as very small insects. You know, you can see them that they cannot be coming inside those cupboards when the naphthalene balls are kept, isn't it? So that smell is a repellent, good repellent for those insects also. So naphthalene ball, it comes as a ball. Since the name says like that, it is made as balls only. Okay, but of course you can always have a powder of that. It's not the problem. That naphthalene balls, if you keep it in the cupboard, after some time you see that it's gone totally. You don't see liquid naphthalene. If you just leave it like that, it just slowly vaporizes. So from the solid, it directly becomes a vapor and it flies away. Okay, and the size of the ball becomes smaller, 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 and one fine morning, you don't see it at all. So from the solid, it has become vapor. That process of from solid to vapor directly, or the reverse process from vapor to solid directly without going through or without going through a liquid phase which we can see. Perhaps it has gone through that liquid phase, but it is not remaining in the liquid phase for a long time for us to see also. So that process is known as sublimation. Now suppose if I had two constituents, one is a naphthalene powder, now naphthalene, you can get it as powder also, then sand. Suppose they get mixed. I want to remove the naphthalene out of it. Naphthalene powder and sand, it is not easy to do any hand picking there. Okay, so you cannot remove the naphthalene particles there. It's also almost like, you know, salt. So it's like salt and sand put together. How can you put them together? So when they are together, how do you separate them? You know very well that it is naphthalene because there is a smell coming. Okay, so I want to separate this naphthalene. So what is the best way of doing is what is known as sublimation. So if I heat it, I put that in a petri dish or some dish which can be heated. If I heat it, this will be immediately converted into vapor. This will not be, of course, converted into vapor. So it will remain in the dish itself, whereas this will be converted into vapor. If it is in a closed setup, I can put a covering on that and that vapor can be collected. If I cool it, what will happen? The vapor of naphthalene after cooling will not become liquid naphthalene, will immediately become solid naphthalene because it is a material which sublimes easily. That is from solid to gas and from gas to solid, nowhere in between any liquid coming. So naphthalene balls in a powder form also, it is solid in nature. So this is solid, that is solid. The moment I heat it, this solid becomes gas. It just evaporates. It can be collected in some cotton or something. You can close that dish and the mouth of the dish can be closed with cotton. So the entire vapor is collected in the cotton, and when it is cooled, you can get the same powder back. So this is one method of sublimation process which can be used to separate two constituents, out of which one must be of the type which can sublime. If it is not going to sublime, no point in using that method. Okay, nothing will happen. You cannot, suppose instead of naphthalene, if you had salt and then there was a sand, if you heat it, nothing will happen. Okay, so this has to be, you cannot separate it. The very purpose was to separate them. So you can use this for if one of them constituent particle was basically having a sublimation nature. It is able to sublime easily. Similarly, there is another method called crystallization. This is also something you might have seen, or next time please ask your mother to show you. You have a saturated sugar solution. Saturated means what? You have a sugar solution where there's a lot of sugar is added and no more sugar it is able to take anymore. So you just leave it like that. What happens in a day or two? The water, sugar solution means water and sugar only. The water slowly starts evaporating. You can do it at home also. You don't have to wait even for 2-3 days. You can keep it on the gas burner and slowly stir it. What will happen is the water keeps on evaporating. What is left behind is sugar. And if you just cool it a little, it will become sugar crystals always. Of course, it's not going to be as the same color as what you had put inside, okay, because that was a refined one. Now you have removed that property, but at least it will be sweet. It will be almost like a jaggery. That brown color is left behind. Okay, so that is what is known as crystallization. So crystal sugars are left behind, not the same color, but at least they have the sugar properties, and that can be reused also. So excess of sugar in any solution, all you have to do is leave it. The excess sugar will settle down at the bottom and it will become crystal in nature, and you can remove it. So that another process is known as crystallization. So any constitution in a solution which has the property of becoming a crystal. You cannot do the same for salt, but you can surely do for sugar, because sugar has the tendency to become crystal. So sugar crystals are formed. So that's one way of separating a constitution which is of excess nature in a saturated solution. You just leave it and it forms the crystals.